Hello, negotiating tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI Brave New World with me, BlueAnkylo. So, traveled back to Albrook between episodes, no big deal. One thing I wanted to mention is, if you had explored Miranda and Zen at this point, you would notice that there are basically no Imperial troopers, and a few of the civilians say something about, yay, the war is finally over. This, other than Vector, this is, I believe, the only place where you still see Imperial guards, seeing as we also kicked them out of South Figaro and Doma Castle. Vector and Albrook seem to be the only places under Imperial occupation. And even here, it seems like maybe the threat of looming Imperial control is a little bit... Well, it's not completely dealt with, but I think, like, if we check out the bar... Get out of the way, dude. If we check out the bar, I believe it might be empty. Now, he says business is picking up, but it actually looks a lot more desolate than it used to be honest. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I didn't want to spend too much time revisiting towns for a couple rather inconsequential dialogue changes. Yeah, none of this stuff is worth buying, so we're good. Alright. So we were told to catch a boat from Albrook to Crescent Isle, and looks like all's well that ends well, right? Alright, let's head on down to the port. Hey, there's the main man. Wonder if you can guess the Imperial General. Oh, and the man he hired. I'm sorry if the side images spoiled it for you. General Celeste. So she's still being referred to as an Imperial officer, interestingly enough. Even though we've been standing by that that Celeste is one of us. Locke, did say some not terribly kind words to her back in the Magitech research facility, in case you've forgotten. Thanks, Shadow. I like this guy. Look at this, nodding away like that. That's how you know your soldiers are listening to you. Nodding away like crazy. It's probably falling asleep. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle. So thankfully, General Leo paid the bill. We can just go rest for free. Such a nice guy. Saved us like 100 GP. So, these two. Hey, remember that time when you sang at the opera? That was cool, right? That's not how he opens. You know. See, he knows. Do you? She's an Imperial General. She's working with Leo and Jik Gestal. Yeah, you done messed up, kid. So, still not on speaking terms. Idiot. Yeah. No dice. Well, it's gonna take some time for her to get over that. Maybe Locke could, take responsibility for his actions? I don't know. He wasn't terrible, but I mean, as soon as Kefka started spouting about her being a traitor, Locke did kinda believe the crazy clown, and that might hurt a girl's feelings, you know. Alright, well, we had a rest. Thanks for getting the boat ready. Without our airship, it's a little bit slow traveling, unfortunately. And quiet. Where's my sound effects? It's just the engine's so smooth we can't hear anything. Man, Leo, quit telling us to go rest. That's all we ever do. Fine, fine. I don't know where we rested. There's the engine room and there's Magitech armor. Well, Tara's got some stuff on her mind, too. It is strange. I have to agree with Leo. I always really liked Leo's logic here. Can't blame the entire Empire for just a couple people's insanity. Oh, come on, buddy. You're not nearly as bad as Kefka. Now, just getting a little bit deep here, but you just need to find the right guy. What do you tell a confused, like, teenager girl that's been a slave her entire life and might be only half human? Just give it some time, I guess. Seems fair. And she is a little bit impatient. Can't blame her for that. Come on, guys. Unfortunately, Shadow is not the correct person to ask about romantic advice. Now, luckily at this point, we've seen Shadow's dreams, so we have a little bit of an idea what's happened with his past. As you'd expect with a ninja, he's got one of the more reclusive sort of histories. They don't tell you too much. Meanwhile, there's Locke, who, I guess he's never been on a boat before. Tisk, tisk, tisk. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright. Well, one night of conversations and Locke's shenanigans, and we're basically there. Look at that. Well, that's interesting. They didn't mention much of that back in the capital, but yeah, we're going somewhere that magic might still exist? Alright, Locke and Shadow. That sounds like a good team. Some kind of walkie-talkie, maybe? Oh, now he gives her the cold shoulder. Dude. Just because she was, I mean... See, she owed him one last night. Or a couple nights ago. That was just over the top, him being rude there. So anyway, welcome back to Crescent Isle. We actually have been here before, but I didn't really show you off the town or anything, because you're not... I mean, you can go in there, they don't really tell you. In fact, I don't think you can... The shops are all closed, and the people barely talk to you. You're not really supposed to go there until now, so... You know, I figured that was fair. Anyway, Shadow has rejoined, and he joins at the level of the party, so don't worry too much about leveling him up earlier. Unfortunately, he can only equip one Esper, so Phantom it is. Which gives him a few spells, and no way to gain max HP, which is kind of unfortunate. And in fact, Vigor and Stamina, that's not the best combination in my opinion, but, you know, that's what you get, so that's what you get. I suppose we should probably equip the dude. Kazakiri, that's the wind elemental one, which is cool. And we might as well go with Unai, I guess. Actually, he could equip the Demon's Bane as well. It just depends on who you want to have the better knife on, basically. So, that's that. And then equipment-wise, I don't know. I think for Shadow, kind of like Gao, because they've got such low HP early on, I feel like it's probably wise to focus on evasion, because it'll keep him alive most of the time. And the Green Beret does give him 10% evade and magic evade. The headband is pretty good, but... yeah, we'll go with the Green Beret. And probably Ninja Gear, yeah. I mean... Gaia Gear just doesn't give him quite as much speed, but that's fine. So we'll give him as much evasion as we can, and that means if I give him 2 more of the correct relics, he will be very difficult to hit physically, at least. So I'm thinking the Zephyr Cape, maybe? It's not a very offensive one, but it gives him pretty good stats from a relic's perspective. And the back guard is like... It's nice to prevent those types of attacks, and it's a pretty defensive-oriented accessory, so that's not the worst. I know I usually focus on a bit more offensive type of relics, but that's fine for this scenario. I would like him to have 94 evade. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, give him the best chance of survival. I feel like that's okay. So there's Shadow... Lock and Terra, everything is good. We'll put a save down. And we'll try not to die on the walk to town. It's just a Chimera. So I did stock up, well I didn't buy any extra, but we had a pretty good supply of scrolls and shurikens. So we should be okay here. I wonder what elements the Chimera is completely immune to. I'll try Break. I think it's Wind Element, and he doesn't seem to... well, he's sort of got wings, but he's not a flyer. Yeah, it does good damage. Oh yeah, Shadow's got a lot of Esper levels to learn as well. Alright, well we're there. Welcome to the town of Thamasa. So, if you'd come here earlier, basically no one would even talk to you. Which is about right. How dare you come here early? So they sell lots of rods. Given how cheap they are, and the fact we've got a fair amount of GP, I'll just buy 1 of each. If you're playing along and are non-spoiled, buy at least 1 ice rod. And these guys are like, I think this is the 3rd tier now of boomerangs type weapons. So if you're going to use anyone in the back row, Rising Sun's pretty good. We're getting up into the pretty high battle damage type group. So that's not bad. And we'll probably fight some flyers in the next dungeon. Technically you could get one for Lock, and then I could pass the Demon's Bane down. How much money have we got? Yeah, we can afford it. There's not too much left to spend money on for a while, so it's okay. So that does give him a slightly better damage, but the main point of that was I could pass over another upgrade over here, so everyone does a little bit more damage. You know, why not? And let's see, Mystery Veil is your pretty interesting girl helmet. I believe it have a lot of magic. Magus Hat, more MP. Unfortunately, one of the things I noticed about Brave New World, and probably the same about the vanilla game, is MP or HP percent increases don't stack. So if you've got an Esper equipped or Magicite equipped that gives you plus MP, this won't stack. And the same thing with your relics. So like there's an item, the Magic Cube, I believe, which gives you 50% more MP plus some higher magic. The Magus Hat won't stack with that, so it'll just take whichever bonus is higher. It's probably fair, because you could get probably a few hundred MP pretty quick if you could stack them all up together. It's fine. The Gold Helm, I guess gold at least halves water damage in this game. Maybe the mod. I don't remember if it did originally, but I feel like this is not very worthwhile. You probably want to spend your money on Gaia Gears, Power Armors, White Dresses, Mystery Veils, that kind of stuff. Maybe Magus' hats even. Just my opinion, of course. I prefer the stat bonuses to a couple points of defense. I don't think we're going to spend any more money on this stuff right now. Oh, I should talk to people, though. I know nothing. Is your name Jon Snow? I know there's been a lot of fairly specific references like that you've got to know quotes from various various pop culture and video game lore. I'm sure I've missed most of them. So the first time you can buy wall rings. So instead of shell, I don't think this was in the original game, but instead of casting shell when you're about to die, just having it on by default. And maybe it gives you some stats as well. I haven't bought any of those before. And then guard ring is auto-safe or protect. Also, it comes with defense. So at some point in the game, depending on the equipment we get and certain characters, there's usually, or at least there was in the original game, a way to get your defense stat so high that you basically didn't take physical damage. If I remember correctly, 255 is sort of the cap. And at 255, you take basically nothing, and 254, you take still basically nothing. But it's very difficult to get your defense quite that max. Like, you have to have the right relics and equipment and stuff. I'm assuming in Brave New World, there's probably a way to do that for a certain couple characters. So this might be the kind of thing you need for that. And then also coming with autosave means 33% less damage again on top of that. So there's probably a way of actually becoming a physical wall if you really want to. Which sounds good, right? I just find most of the time a small defense increase, like going from 80 to 90, it doesn't really do anything. But if you can get it up over 200, suddenly you'll start cutting down a lot of damage. So one day. Keep on walking, guys. That kid's no fun. Yeah, what are espers? It's a pretty small town, honestly. Yes, they mentioned the innkeeper. We should go talk to him. That's pretty expensive. I don't think so, Tim. 1500 GP. I don't know. Pretty much just buy a tincture and cure our way up to full HP. Gotta check all the barrels. Yeah, Red Bull. Perfect. Hey, Elder. Never heard of the stuff. So apparently nobody that lives here knows anything about magic. Alright, well, let's check this house. You're not really familiar with the word Esper. But a kindly old man learned in the history of the world and the ways of monsters. Hello, Strago. The oldest character in the game. You're not very familiar, but you do know it. Look, it's pretty common. Everyone knows what an Esper is by now anyway, right? Didn't a bunch of them fly over to this island? Like, that's why we're here. The whole town's hiding something. Alright. I just want to forewarn you, for those of you with sensitive swear words. There's some situations here where a certain young lady has some fairly vile language in this mod. I'm not a huge fan, but you've been warned. She's always been a bit snarky and so forth, but, you know. A talented young artist whose skill is surpassed only by her love for her grandfather. She has a lovely little background soundtrack, at least. Say hello to Realm. I like Realm. Not particularly as a party member, but she's a nice character. Friends that can use The dog never ate me. Like, look, Locke and Tara never get killed by the dog. It's not that bad. But, pay attention to Realm and Interceptor, because that's a little unusual. Not a very nice Strago. Should just let the kid have some fun. And she was going to tell us about magic, I believe. Yeah, that is definitely unusual for Shadow's killer ninja dog to just run off with a little girl. Yeah. Just an ordinary, quiet little village. Never heard about an Esper before. I guess we better go look a little bit more thoroughly around the town. Such a good dog. Except for when he runs off with strange children. So, we can go back in here, but, some Kiowa bread. So I don't think this was in the North American translation, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was in the original Japanese version, because there is some bread right here. And, I wouldn't be surprised if the old man was, known for his baking. Seems like the sort of thing, strange old character might be known for. Come on, let me into your house. Get out of the way. So, it's not creepy that, you know, a little girl and her granddad would sleep in the same room, in beds a few feet apart, right? It's totally normal. There is a hidden item in this room, but it's almost a spoiler if I get it, so I'm just gonna not get it for now. Those of you that know what it is, and those of you that don't, will get it later. Alright, well, let's look around the town a little bit better. Maybe there's some more information to find. Detective Ankylo's on the job. I mean, there's some graveyard over there. That's probably nothing. This area seems empty, but... what was that? What's this kid doing over here? Kid that won't let me into his house? Hey! Hey! Hey, kid! Well, that sure looked like magic. Trying to light those bushes on fire. Parents know what you're doing behind the house? A muggle. that's great. What about behind Strago's house? Hi! Cure medicine. Oh, is that a thing? So, I mean, it seems like the people that live here might know a little bit of magic. Quite a lot like Tara, even. Cure magic and fire magic. I think that's the only two cutscenes we can get. I'm pretty sure that's all there is. Trying to remember. I don't want to miss anything if I can help it. What a funny word, magic. Hey, I don't know what Kiowa bread is, obviously. but I assume it's tasty. I do like bread, so I'd be willing to give it a shot. Ah, so I do like this slight change. Like I said, the Kiowa bread is probably something added in Brave New World or returned. And now that you smell better... Oh look, much better deal. Well, thank you. You always got a discount after talking to Strago, but now it makes a little bit of sense even. You really shouldn't run up to a stranger while he's... Oh, never mind. Okay, what's going on? She was on fire? Wait, what is going on? And I'm still pretty sleepy. I don't know. Now, you might remember that Shadow, well, he's kind of plagued by nightmares. So he doesn't always wake up as quick as you'd like. Or he's just a ninja who pretends to be asleep. You know. Alright, so, guys, this is not helping. That does not help. Maybe get some water. Hey, Strago, what's going on? This house is, like, really on fire. Yeah, seen better days. What is Realm doing in there in the middle of the night, anyway? That sure looks like you're casting something. Now, one thing that always bothered me about this, and I'm just gonna let you know, is Strago is like the first character in the game that has literally water magic. Not ice or fire or lightning. He actually knows straight up water magic. But he doesn't use it here. Which always struck me as odd. I guess Gao and Mog sort of do, but he can select what type of magic he wants to cast. He has conscious control of it and should be able to summon a whole bunch of water right now. But instead he gets the whole team to go, or the whole town to go flame begone, as if some flame deterrent is going to get rid of it. It's like Ant Begone, just spraying some pressurized spray on it. It's probably flammable, so it makes it worse. Exactly. Thank you for proving me right, video game. So if you're watching this, guys, at home, if your house is on fire, don't spray the ant pesticide on the flames. It's probably just going to make it worse. Yeah, you blame the fire rods. Psh. Alright, well, you know, we're supposed to be heroes. Can't let you go die in here. Well, this'll be fun. Hope you put on your fire protective equipment. We don't really have any. Is there anything we have? Again, I apologize if the audio is a little bit weird here. I'm convinced that something's a little bit weird. Anyway, Icebrand, pretty good for this battle. Luckily I have two. Or this battle, this dungeon. Also for Strago, you might want to equip an ice rod. I mean, in case you're fighting fire enemies in the house. What am I talking about? Why would there be monsters inside of a house of fire? I mean, it's built of fire, basically. Just saying, you might want to equip some ice equipment anyway. And then Strago can also use relics and all that, of course. He's pretty slow. Like, his big weakness is his speed is terrible. So I'll give him a stat stick. And, you can give him double stat stick even. Wow. Don't think there's any status ailments we need to really worry about. White Cape gives him the right stats, at least. So, I mean, that's good. He's not really going to be a defender or an attacker. Black Belt gives him a lot of hate. You know, countering for him might not be the worst idea either, given the weapon he's got equipped. We'll just go with, what did I say? Speed and magic, right? Which one is it? That one, White Cape, sure. You don't want him to get put to sleep in here. Old man probably falls asleep all the time. The other thing, let's see. So I haven't really talked about it before, but rods, well, we talked about it a little bit back with Bannon. In Brave New World, rods have MP critical, essentially. Same as There's a couple swords and things that do that. But now all rods automatically have that effect, so when you attack with them, they will use MP, I don't know, some percent, I believe, of your total MP to do a critical hit. And the chances of them doing a magic attack on top of that are maybe not 100%, but they're much higher than they were in the base game. So if he attacks physically, he'll do a critical, and he's very likely to cast Ice 2 on his target for free. If you use the item in battle as an item, you can guaranteed cast Ice 2, or, you know, whatever effect from your rod, but it breaks it. So attacking doesn't break it, using it as an item does break it. That's the rule. Also, Strago can learn all kinds of magic, so, Osmos would be pretty useful. Also, he can boost up his max MP, his magic a lot. Maybe he's mostly your mage character, who knows? Did that boost it up a bit? So I think because he had the Magus hat equipped, that gives him 25% more MP. We saw that in the store. Yeah, that's not very good. Not much better. If I'd had a spare, I think he can equip Gaia gear or something, I think. Only one weapon allowed. I guess I'll give him the stat hat. Look, his speed is like almost double what it starts at. That's got to be worth something. I know I'm wasting a lot of time here. Anyway, the MP bonuses don't stack, is what I'm trying to say. So that the equipping Carbuncle doesn't do anything for him. So Shiva actually would be a very useful summon to have in a fire dungeon. So let's get going. Sorry for wasting like 5 minutes equipping him. Let's get to work. This is actually not a very large house, like it won't take too long. But there's lots of fire everywhere. And the fire wants to fight you. Fight me, fire. Yeah, the music's really weird in here, for sure. So, because we equipped, you know, the right kind of weapons, they should go down pretty quick. Yeah, there you go. So, magic on cast. Everything you fight in here will be weak to ice, as far as I'm aware. And so the problem with Strago's attack, as much as it did a ridiculous amount of damage, is it does burn through his MP pretty quick. Yeah, the audio seems really off to me. So anyway, he's also got lore. I believe in the original game he starts with 3 different lores. Aqua Rake, Stone, I think, and maybe Revenge. There's like quite a few. In Brave New World, he just starts with only Aqua Rake, which is that water spell I was telling you about. You'd think this would help put the fire out, but, you know. Anyway, it's an auto-target all, kind of like an Esper summon. It's pretty good. Water Elemental. Not a lot of choices for Water Elemental attacks, so that's cool. Unfortunately, his MP isn't super amazing this early in the game, so if you use his lores, it'll cost a lot of MP. The other thing I was going to mention, there's a couple things, I guess. So the rods, they will do more damage in the front row if you're going to use his physical attack. You only want him in the back row for magic, but if you want him to do sort of rod effects and MP crits, you want him in the front row. Well, you might. To be fair, in the back row, or in the front row, he did like 4,000 damage with his magic attack. These enemies probably do not have 4,000 HP. So even in the back row, he'd probably kill them in one hit, to be honest. So I've changed my mind while I was thinking about it. There you go. What else is there? I was going to mention his lore. So lore is like blue magic. It's fairly straightforward. Do we have no ice magic for Locke? Eh? Unfortunately, like, well, storm might count as water. It's pretty expensive. I think it's water and wind, so it's probably going to kill them pretty easily. I just want to test it out. One of the things is, because we can't just have everyone equip Shiva now, usually when you come here, Terra and Locke could both know some ice magic, but in Brave New World, that's not really an option. But yeah, lores are like blue magic, so you will learn, Strago will learn new spells. This is probably a good time for Aqua Rake. He will learn new spells by seeing enemies cast them. And conveniently in Final Fantasy VI, they don't need to be cast on him specifically to learn them. In some other Final Fantasies, Blue Magic, you can only learn if the spell hits the Blue Mage. In Final Fantasy VI, he just has to see it be cast in a battle that I think he has to survive it. But other than that, he can just learn it by seeing it, which is nice. So yeah, he's got a little bit low stats for now, speed especially, and HP and all that, but we might be able to fix that later. I assume Flare Up is in relation to one of the Fantastic Four, the Human Torch. So in the back row, yeah, it's still that's your proof there. It did do half as much damage, even though it's magical, when you attack physically with a rod and get the magic effect. It's just kind of an odd. It seems a little bit weird because magic is usually unaffected by row, but that's just the way it is. Just turns out that in here it doesn't matter. We're gonna burn out. Oh, I shouldn't have attacked there. I shouldn't have used Aqua Rake. I would probably say that Strago is a pretty good target for the sprint shoes. Auto haste would be pretty good for him. Or finding a way to boost his speed stat a bit. Oh, I went the wrong way. There might be treasure behind the other door. Dang it. This feels really weird to me because there's no music and the sound effects are a little bit glitchy right now. So this whole dungeon is like really off key for me here. That was not a very good attack, Tara. What are you doing? I'm just trying to preserve MP at this point because we still got a fair ways to go. I know I told you this building wasn't too huge. And then 20 fights against grenades later, starting to slow down a bit. Oh. Well, this was just one of the trapdoors, so there's that. I couldn't remember which one was which. There's a couple pieces of treasure in here you could miss. It's really not a big deal, but I just wanted to make sure I got them. Well, Strago's dead. We might actually, like, potentially die here. That's great. So I can't do a physical attack with Terra because she will miss, probably, and I need these guys to die. So burn some MP here. This is one of those situations where this spell is... How'd you miss that? Particularly good because, like, a normal spell like Ice 2 or whatever, even if she had it, would only be able to target one side in a pincer attack. So... I think Strago can learn that spell from lore, actually, if he was not dead, actually. I think he can. I know in, well, one of the problems for me is in Brave New World, I don't know all of the lores. I believe there's less total lores learnable than there were in the base game, but I'm not sure exactly which ones are which that he can learn. So maybe he's got enough magic points for something here. 10. So you could learn Ice 1. I'd like Osmos, if possible. So yeah, we can't get through that door. I think you just get infinite fights if you keep trying to go into it. I wish we had Ice 2. It's a much more MP efficient way to kill these guys than spamming Aqua Rakes every time. But I know we're only 5 SP away from Osmos, so... Well, now that's assuming the grenades actually have a... have MP for us to steal. They might not. Looks like it might be worth giving everyone blind protection for these battles. I don't know. A lot of messing around. Spent so much time looking at equipment already anyway. So I'd like to see if we can learn the Exploder spell. So I'm going to try to leave one of them alive because I think that's what triggered it. Maybe it was dealing some damage without killing him that caused the explosion. I'm still not 100% on how all the enemy AI works, obviously, but... Oh, there might be a way to attack without risking... So, like, I don't want to kill it. And I was thinking anybody that attacks could kill it with their spell effect. But I believe when you use something like Mug, one of the side effects of using a skill to attack, is it sort of disables weapon specials, so it won't activate Ice 2. Still did too much damage. There's a few situations where using a special skill like that doesn't trigger the weapon skill, or like the weapon specials, can be valuable. Like, if we're trying to leave one slightly alive. There we go. Didn't quite kill it. Maybe it'll do its explode while Strago is alive. There we go. That should cover it. Assuming we don't all die here in a second. See, every now and then I know a little bit of, like, detailed Final Fantasy VI mechanics. So he did not learn Exploder. I'm pretty sure you could learn something like that originally, but I guess it must have got cut out at some point. Do we have enough yet? Please tell me. 13 points. Well, he's got 5 Esper levels. What do you think would be useful for the old man? More magic, more MP, more just magic. I don't think the stamina is really going to do him any good, so I'd rather get slightly less MP, but then the secondary stat is useful. And then later on, we'll just go all magic, I think, probably. Because MP won't be a problem forever. So lots of fire rods, like the kid said. I kind of want to teach him Osmos, but we'll get it eventually, one way or the other. Attack. Oh, see, so even the auto-crit Ice Rod doesn't always cast Ice 2. I feel like it happens most of the time, but I don't know the exact percent. Also, wasn't there... I totally forgot, actually. Wasn't there... I did buy a specific Mystery Veil, and I completely forgot to actually equip it. Good job, Blue. What does it do exactly? I forgot to check it out. Sword spell cast rate. It's a little bit different than the original, in the sense that it doesn't give quite as amazing magic stat as it used to, I don't think. But more often, I mean, I don't know how often this will make Ice Brand trigger for her, but that's pretty good. Oh, good, a full heal. That's actually really nice, because now, I didn't get Osmos, but I can pick up something like Ice 2 instead. I could go fight one more battle. It's fine. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, guys. It's just a boss fire. Oh, thank goodness, the music at long last. Heart of Fire! I don't think... Oh, I was going to try to steal from it, but I don't think you can steal from it. Haste is not fair. Knock that off, Heartfire. I just feel like while we have Lock, we should at least be trying to steal from enemies, but... So this fight, I do remember the grenades will just keep respawning endlessly, but it's a really good chance for Aqua Rake to wipe them out. Alright, so we should have slowed it rather than leaving it on haste mode, which should help us out significantly. I figured it was worth a shot. Looks like Ice Magic will do a ton of damage, though, if we had anyone with Ice 2. Unfortunately, Strago doesn't know any magic by default. So it's basically just Aqua Rake all day, or try an attack. Unfortunately, we didn't get our trigger. Same thing here. Alright, we're taking some damage here. I guess I should have also moved Strago to the front row. Because I think it's reasonably likely that one good Strago rod attack will just kill this boss in one attack. The other thing you could do is, because remember it wasn't that expensive. Where are they? There they are. Remember I thought we bought a spare ice rod, didn't we? I thought we had more than one. I just bought one of each. Okay, I think in the original game, one of the rods in the dungeon was an ice rod. Ah, shoot. I should have brought a spare, because we could just break it, and that would probably end this right now. Oh well, no big deal. Nothing terribly useful here. Oh, that would be useful. Do that. Because that'll cover the regen. Technically, Shell would help. You can actually reflect his fire, but it would probably heal him in return, so that'd be bad. I guess I could have morphed Terra. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I bet you her morphed physical attack, if the Ice 2 triggered, would be pretty strong. I don't usually think of this boss as particularly difficult, but you never know with Brave New World. Ooh, that was... yeah, there you go. He just doesn't have enough HP. So as long as you can get a couple strong attacks in there, he goes down pretty fast. No trouble. Alright. Good fight, everybody. So, let's rescue the kid and get out of here, right? Just quit hopping around. Oh, look, it's a good boy. No idea where Shadow is, but his dog came to save the day. Uh-oh. Sure hope someone knows the warp spell. Well, we all got knocked out by the smoke. The dog's still fighting off flames. Trying, anyway. Situation is dire. Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, anytime. What are we paying you for, right? I like that he's able to kill all the fire in one attack, which makes sense because he's got all those water scrolls. Another pretty good use to, another good way to put a fire out for the whole building. Oh, look! He knows the warp spell, except it's Ninja Vanish. Pretty convenient. And everyone survived smoke inhalation and third-degree burns. You're welcome, kid. Now, why does everyone know fire magic? Yeah, exactly. Let's get to the point, old man. Village of Sorcerers? I guess you're lucky that you never told the Empire anything about that. I guess for their own self-survival, it was probably good that they kept it quiet. Now that I think about it. Okay, we know that much. Yeah. Oh. And I guess the sorcerers weren't quite cool enough to be able to make themselves their own hidden land with a fancy barrier seal, hey? People are just the worst, aren't they? So you can basically assume that these sorcerers are basically the same as Celeste if there was a bunch of Celestes and they all had children that were also able to use magic. Bunch of Magitech Knights. And after a war of the Magi that decimated the lands and tore the world asunder, I could see the regular folk being a little bit angry about the magic users. You know. It's pretty terrible, but It might be understandable. I don't know. You do have a bunch of espers on your island somewhere, we hear. No children allowed. I didn't even bring the young boy. Yeah. He is mean, I'll give him that. I'll give her that. Well, it's a small island and we only have one mountain, so they're probably there. It might be an important mountain, though. You never know. Hey, by the way, the ninja left. I know he's sneaky and all, but, like, he just ran out. Yeah, alright. So we've got Strago now, but what happened to Shadow? Weren't you, hired to help us? I guess they ran out of money or something. Oh, this dog almost disobeyed for a second. Something going on between Realm and Interceptor, though, that's for sure. So anyway, I still don't know really why Shadow just decides to up and leave us all. I mean, it seemed like he was hired to help us find espers, and he was ordered to, you know, follow us and, you know, let Leo know once we found them. I don't know what he's up to, but anyway, it's already been a pretty darn long episode. We'll probably take a break here. Equipment-wise, I don't think there's anything we need for Strago. You can see his equipment is pretty limited, to be honest. You don't expect much out of him. He's probably one of the most pure mages in the group. Like, Terra and Celeste used to be our kind of mage characters, but they're actually still pretty physically strong. Strago is more of your actually just an old man mage. So, he'll be really good at magic power. Pretty good at stamina, apparently. He can still stay up all night. But, you know, speed and vigor are going to be a bit lacking. And, at least he's got pretty good Esper selection. We do need to learn that Osmos. Thank you very much. Now we can restore MP. And, I don't know what the next priority is. Maybe some cheap spells and then some ice. And we'll worry about the other stuff as we get through it. And as far as his Esper levels go, I wish he had a way to gain HP. But I don't think there is. I don't think he gains any HP Espers, so you can either give him MP growth or just straight magic. I guess as long as you're giving him the well, something that gives him plus permanent MP. The Magus hat would give him 25% more. But if he's got Osmos, the truth is, unless we're in a real dire situation, we probably won't need, what was I trying to say? I should have summoned Shiva, I forgot about that. Jeez, man, I'm really off my game. If we have Osmos, most of the time we'll have a way of restoring MP without needing to use, you know, without having to have a huge pool or having to use items to recover it. Kind of annoyed that he doesn't have any better armor. We'll probably find some better armor for him in the next dungeon, so at least we've got that. And, yeah, I mean, that's it. Alright, folks, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have all enjoyed. I will see you next time, and we'll, head over to the mountains of Thamasa, and maybe we'll be able to learn a couple lores for Strago along the way. I don't know exactly where they all are, but we'll try. See you guys there.